Guys, do you think Baiji is the most powerful person in the Seven Shoes? Well, that's a stupid question. Of course he is. He's the leader and a literal god, unlike the others. He can destroy the entirety of Antares, he can create doubles, and the most important thing, he broke the Zodiac astral rain into 7 pieces and gave them to 6 other people, therefore being the founder of the Seven Shoes. He's the most powerful, he has to be. Today, I'm going to prove he's not, because I believe I have found something that twists the narrative on its head and changes everything. This makes the perception reveal look like nothing, and the worst part of all, it tells us all about it in the chapter. We just didn't look hard enough. At least I didn't. I may look like an idiot, but I won't know until I post this, will I? By the way, I will be putting this theory into 2 separate parts because I found a lot, okay? This is a big one. Baiji is characterized as the strongest in the story, but there are a few lines that contradict that. Like this scene where Ajita says that she will help him, but then says, if the balance made by falsehood crumbles like shattered glass, I won't mind collecting some of its precious shards, which is creepy as hell. I think she's saying that she'll replace him, but I don't know how she has the authority to do that. In this scene, Baiji gives Ajita a shard of the Zodiac astral rain, then says, I hope you can help us like you always have, implying that Ajita helped him before she even became a shoe. At the beginning of the conversation, once Ajita appears, Baiji says she didn't think she would come personally and thought she was going to use an artifact of hers to lecture him as if he were a child. And this is the most obvious one, the truth of falsehood can only be held by gadgets. We are in a mutually beneficial partnership. All of these things combined really makes you wonder what the power dynamic between these two actually are. And when I started looking into it further, that's when I discovered something huge. In one scene, Ajita explains what the Rite of Tears is to Baiji, and everything seems normal at first, but when you think about it for a couple of seconds, the fact that she's the one telling Baiji what it is a little bit weird. You're telling me that the leader of the Seven Shoes that is hellbent on ridding the world of these shadow calamities didn't come up with a main ceremony that said to do exactly that himself? Instead, Ajita came up with it and Baiji just put it into action? Okay, that's a little weird and not what I expected, but that doesn't mean anything, right? You could say it was teamwork. Ajita's the brain of the Seven Shoes and Baiji's the strength. And you know what? That's a valid argument, and I would agree with you if that was the only thing. You know that thing that caused this whole mess in the first place? It birthed perception, broke the Zodiac astral rain into 7 pieces, and now Baiji hates himself for it? Yeah, that thing? Ajita told him to do that. It all began 100 years ago when, under Ajita's exhortations, I attempted to contain the 10 Faces of Misery. That's right, Hoyoverse is using words that haven't been popular since the 1850s. Exhortation means to emphatically urge someone to do something. So not only did she tell Baiji to do this, but she did so in a rather aggressive manner. Now, I don't know if you noticed, he only said it about 20,000 times during the chapter, but Baiji blames himself for this. Only himself and not anyone else. Which is weird since we just determined that she forced him to do this. Look at this line. Baiji says, no, I alone should take the responsibility. He emphasizes I alone like someone else could be responsible for this. And I have a feeling I know who that someone else is. Look at her response when he says this.
ええ、あなたならそう言うと思ったわ。
That's a pretty big thing that happened. But wait, there's more. If Ajita forced Baiji to use the original astral ring to contain all of the 10 faces of misery, what do you think that implies? There are two instances where Baiji says he does not know a lot about the astral ring, when he is talking to Lantern and when he is talking to the main cast. Except that time he adds that it was a gift from a friend. Guess who's the friend? I bet you never will. It's Ajita, as always. It always seems to be Ajita. At the beginning of their conversation, Ajita mentions the Zodiac Astral Ring without Baiji even bringing it up. Baiji informs Ajita that the Zodiac Astral Ring broke, but wait, why does he have to inform her that it broke? It seems to me that Ajita gifted the Zodiac Astral Ring to Baiji so that he could attempt to contain the 10 faces. This is confirmed by the very next line. Ajita says, I suppose it's only theoretically feasible to integrate the Shadow's authorities into a singular point. This proves that Ajita actually wanted this from the beginning. Not only that, but Ajita knew it would probably fail too, since she said it was only theoretically feasible, but she still made him do it. Apparently, she was prepared for this to happen as well, since Baiji said one thing that happened after it broke was just as she predicted. Ajita predicted that even though it broke, its power is still there, so his plan is to hand over the fragments to the right people. And you guys know what that is. That is what the entirety of the 7 shoes are based on. Then Ajita drops a bomb by saying she remembers working on that contingency plan with him. A contingency plan is basically a plan B, a plan you make in case things go wrong. Wait. Did this woman just say the entire concept of the 7 shoes was a backup plan for if this failed? This entire time, we thought the 7 shoes was the main thing here, when in actuality, it was a backup plan made by these 2 people right here. Which actually makes sense, because if plan A did succeed, then there would be no perception, no shadows, because there would all be in the Zodiac Astral Ring, and the ring would still be in one piece, so there would be absolutely no reason for the shoes whatsoever. She said they worked on plan B together, and you can see that when Baiji talks about plan B. He says the biological affinity of this instrument might give us the opportunity to turn the tables. Baiji's in on this plan with her, and the 7 shoes will benefit both Ajita and Baiji in particular somehow. To add on to this, if Baiji was in on plan B, maybe he was in on plan A as well. They planned B together, which proves that Baiji was also working on possibilities for if the Zodiac ring broke. So maybe his mistake wasn't really a mistake. To summarize, these 2 were in a beneficial relationship before the 7 shoes were even a thing. Together, they made 2 plans, Plan A and Plan B. Plan A was to contain all the 10 faces of misery into the Zodiac Astral Ring, but since there was a high probability of Plan A failing and the ring breaking, they made a Plan B, which is the entire concept of the 7 shoes. As expected, the ring broke, so they went with Plan B, and Baiji was the first one to give Ajita a fragment because obviously they're partners. What else would he do? Now that we're on the same page, let's talk about why. Why are they doing this, and what are these plans even for? You would think it's to get rid of the shadows because Plan A was to contain all the 10 faces, but if that was true, why is Ajita making a deal with one? We may have no idea why they are making these plans, but the one definitive thing is that they are in a partnership together and they seem to have a good relationship, right? Wrong. When asking Baiji to carry out Plan A, Ajita was unnecessarily rude considering they worked on this plan together. Ajita threatened Baiji by saying that she will take his place once he goes. She apparently reprimands him. She strictly tells him that this is not a partnership for friendship, but a beneficial one where one can get what the other wants. She then adds, at least for the time being, yet again threatening him, basically saying, if you no longer give me the things I want, we're no longer partners. When Plan A failed, Perception was created and Baiji didn't know about it, but guess who did and didn't tell him about it, which created a lot of problems for him, didn't it? He got severe damage from the tremendous surge from the astral rain, and she just doesn't care? Last but not least, when Baiji talks about how he's going to carry out Plan B, she refuses to even lift a finger to help him, just tells him to do it on his own, while she sits back and relaxes, despite them working on it together. This is not an equal partnership. Baiji is Ajita's boy. Call her Thelema because she is dominating. Baiji, are you really gonna take this, my boy? Strangely, the answer is yes. Like I said, Ajita is unnecessarily rude to him when asking him to act out Plan A, but he just complies with it. When Ajita leaves him to go relax instead of helping him, he's completely fine with it. The way she phrases this makes it seem like she's demanding or ordering him to do this. Same with Plan A, and Baiji complies with it all. So there is a master and servant relationship between these two. The only question is, why does Ajita seem to be the master and Baiji seem to be the servant? Actually, I lied. That's not the only questions. There's so many more. What is the reason for these plans? Why are they doing this? Why would making the 7 shoes help them in particular? Why does Ajita seem to have the high ground here? Baiji's supposed to be the leader, so that doesn't make any sense. Why are they special? They planned Plan B together, so that means they just dragged 5 more people into what they were already doing. Why are they special, and why are they even together in the first place? Last but not least, what even is the Zodiac Astral Rain? It seems to be the center point of both of these plans, but why did Ajita have it and give it to Baiji? Ajita's not even the original owner, because Baiji said Ajita predicted that the rain will still have its power even if it's broken into fragments. The key word there is predicted, so she didn't even know. Who is the original owner of the Zodiac Astral Rain? These are a lot of questions. Thankfully, I believe I have the answer to all of these, and trust me, you guys will not expect the answers. The reason Ajita has the high ground, the reason for Plan A and B, and the original owner of the Zodiac Astral Rain is something to be saved for the next video! Yay! Cliffhangers! Honkai does it all the time, why can't I? Being on the other side of a cliffhanger is exhilarating. Let me know if you guys want me to do this more often. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video and are excited for part 2, consider subscribing to the channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss when part 2 comes out. I will see you guys in the next video.